Welcome to this third live video stream of the Witching Hour. We're still figuring out some of these technical components here, so bear with me for a moment. My name is Hector, Incarnated Spirit. I will be your host for this evening on yet another episode of this, your show, The Witching Hour. This show is designed to allow callers to be able to share their experiences live here on this live broadcast by calling the following number: 253-300-1839 within the United States, 253-300-1839 within the United States. And if you are outside of the US and would like to participate, you can do so through the Messenger app. You can call, you can look for Hector Incarnated Spirit. Send me a message or try to connect to me via Messenger, and I can put you on the air live. Once again, that phone number is 253-300-1839, or through Messenger by searching for Hector Incarnated Spirit. So let us begin. Tonight, I would like to extend my sympathy to all those people all across the world that are experiencing this difficult time in this particular time period. I don't want to use certain keywords that might get my video banned, but let's just say this pandemic. I would like to extend my sincere love to all those that have powered through this last couple years, that have maintained their sanity, maintained their positive attitude, their positive outlook. And I would like to tell everybody to not give up. We are in the middle of a spiritual war. Many people do not know this. Many people are still asleep to this fact. But our world governments are run by certain elite, certain people that participate in the dark arts, occultism, and they are in essence guided and governed by entities, demons, that we cannot perceive with our physical senses. This is a very well-established idea. Many people across the research world have come to the same conclusion, that there are certain bloodlines that have been established thousands of years ago. Royalty, kings, certain bloodlines that have remained in control and in power of the masses, of the people, of the true kings, because the people are the ones that have the true power. Demons do not have power. On our last podcast, I talked a little bit about little bit about what demons are, but I'll touch on it again. Demons are simply beings of darkness, versus there are human beings which are beings of light. Beings of darkness cannot generate their own light, cannot emanate their own creative light. They must consume, feed off of, and drain the light of others to sustain themselves. This I've come to understand through my own research into the etheric, what I call the etheric sciences. And there are others who have the same conclusion, have come to the same conclusion, which is that these entities must feed off of human energy, human light. And I say that humans generate their own light, not in the physical sense, but in the etheric, spiritual sense, energy sense. I use those words interchangeably. Etheric, spiritual, and energy dimension. I'm a big fan, I guess you could call it, of Nikola Tesla. He was, in my opinion, the best, the greatest scientist this world has seen. Revolutionized the entire planet. And yet, we don't hear about Nikola Tesla in our schooling. Well, at least I didn't. In, universities, there's no recognition to Nikola Tesla. We hear about Alexander Graham Bell, Benjamin Franklin, Einstein, Newton, but we never hear about Tesla. He actually died in his hotel room, alone and broke. Even though he was the greatest mind the world has seen, he never got the fame, he never got the prestige of other scientists who followed the narrative and followed the mainstream and played by these elitist rules. Nonetheless, he created a lot of technology, and it is to my understanding that all of his secret technology, his patents, were confiscated by the government, or much of them were. Secret technologies, including the death ray, which I've been sharing some compelling images and some videos on the Paranormal Matrix group, where you can clearly see some of these beams, almost like lasers coming from outer space, causing fires. These rays, on one of the videos, there's a ray that is shot into a volcano, and the volcano, you can see it's erupting. So there's a lot of technology. That's one of those technologies, but there's other technologies that I believe are in use by secret government agencies and, world elite, I guess you could say. So, once again, welcome, anybody that's out there listening. Hi, Cynthia. I see you. RJ, 5G. There you go. Yeah, 5G. I've heard a couple theories about 5G. I've heard that 5G can be used for communications at a higher rate of transmission for communications, but it can also become a weapon. It can also be used. It can also be weaponized to be used against the public. I've heard theories of people claiming that there is some kind of some kind of graphene oxide in these that are being put into people, and well, actually that's the difference into people, and yes, graphene oxide, yep. And there's I think a couple scientists, independent scientists, have done some research into these filaments that are in the masks that seem to have like take on life of their own when there's certain conditions like moisture and warmth. I think that they've concluded that it is a sort of graphene oxide, and so I don't know if it plays into this whole 5G thing. I haven't gotten, my research hasn't gotten to that point yet, but right now I'm assuming there is some kind of correlation between the two. Going back to the nanoparticles. That's exactly right. I just saw a video about a scientist who took a micron microscope, I think that's what you call it, and amplified the liquid inside the vial, and some crazy things she saw. She saw a spider structure, like it looked like a 4 or 5-legged structure. She said that it had life of its own when it was under the microscope. It could move on its own, and it seemed to be self-aware, according to her, that it would shy away from being observed. So I've seen other videos of nanotechnology capturing cells and capturing sperm and inserting them into the ovums of under a petri under a slide of a microscope. So the technology's out there. The technology's out there, and a lot of this technology is actually channeled from other dimensions. Nikola Tesla would communicate with beings from a different dimension, and he would get dreams and visions of these technologies. And I believe that he was, in fact, obtaining this from the etheric dimension. I myself have been able to communicate with beings from other realms, and they are more advanced. Some of them are more advanced. Some civilizations are more advanced. They have all sorts of things that I couldn't even comprehend some of the things that they were telling me here on Earth. So I don't doubt that all this technology has already been implemented somewhere else, in another part of this universe, in other universes, in other dimensions. I don't doubt. There's nothing new under the sun. So I'm sure that a lot of these secret societies that exist, the Masons, the Skull and Bones Brotherhood or Society, I don't know. There's a ton of them out there, and the elite are part of these societies. They do sacrifices. They do human rituals. They do rituals to summon, channel, invoke beings from other dimensions. I think even during the Nazi era, Hitler was working on black ops or projects that involved opening dimensional portals, opening and channeling entities. And I think he had a spiritual advisor or something that would channel these energies. So governments know that this exists. They don't want the public to know that we're able to communicate with these beings, but it it's everywhere. It's the Bible talks about it. That's one of the oldest books that we have, and there's a lot of people out there talking about communicating with entities, with beings from other dimensions. It's very possible. So I'm here to tell you that I do it on a regular basis, especially to heal people, to remove demonic entities from the person's energy field, allowing the person to heal themselves. That's all. That's all it is. Don't take this as medical advice. I'm not a medical professional, even though I did study neuroscience and psychology in my early years. The number to call, 253-300-1839, if you would like to participate in this tonight's call-in, so you can share your experience, share a story, or share whatever you'd like. Oh, thank you, Cynthia. There it is, 253-300-1839. For inside the U.S. and outside of the U.S., you can use Messenger, so you don't have to pay out of the country fee. I don't know how that works anymore, but we're still trying to figure out all the technical stuff of this live stream. We're going to be doing it every Friday at 8 p.m. Pacific time. Every Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. But going back to what I was saying earlier, all the people that are out there that are going through this war, because this is a war. This is a spiritual war. This is a psychological war that we are living through. I'm excited to live through this. Honestly, at first I was bummed out because I was seeing all these people just handing away their rights, just giving everything away, and I was so sad because I grew up here in the U.S. and America is the beacon of freedom. We are, from what I've heard from all over the world, we are the last free nation, and so America is really a beacon of hope for many. And I believe in freedom, freedom of choice, freedom of whatever you need to, do, because that's what I believe defines a demon and a light being. The freedom to not interfere, so basically, if somebody interferes with your free will, they have the potential to become a demon after they die. Same goes to me or anyone else. Say I was to hurt somebody or murder somebody. When I die, the universe is it works in a very, very amazing way. But if I take somebody's free will away, I took that person's life, and therefore I took their opportunity to experience. I took away their free will. When I die, the universe has a way of removing my free will, in essence, my creative ability, my light. So I run the risk of becoming a being of darkness. And so it's just, I don't know how to explain it. I guess you could call it the eye for an eye or tooth for a tooth. I don't know. I'm not a theologian. I'm not a religious person. I like to research. I like to learn. And if you have a perspective on it, feel free to comment on it. Feel free to share your ideas, share your thoughts with me. I'm always open to learning new ways of seeing things. But going back to what I was saying, the universe has a way of balancing itself out. So when somebody takes away somebody else's free will, you become an interference to that person. Demons work the same way. They manipulate using fear, using there's also a whole range of tactics that they use to manipulate humanity. Mainly fear. Fear is the biggest one, I would say. If they're able to scare you enough, you'll do whatever, So, and I see that in our system today, the matrix that we live in. The matrix that we live in is very fear mongering, very fear oriented, to get you to comply, to get you to do what they want you to do. And demons have this tendency to try and manipulate people, to interfere with their free will, to put ideas into their head. Some people are even able to hear them, not with their physical ears, but with the inner ear, I guess you could call it. Like, we have physical eyes, but we also have a third eye that can perceive energies. We've not been taught this, we've not developed this, we've not really, a majority of people don't even know it's there. But when I studied neuroscience, we observed the dissection of the pineal gland, the third eye, and it's very much like an eye. It has the structures of an eye. It has like a retina looking thing. It has different, sorry, there's a bug. It has all sorts of features very similar to the eye, and that sits right in the middle close to the middle of the brain. When they take CAT scans or images of the brain, they use that as a reference point, because it becomes calcified as an adult. That pineal gland becomes calcified, and it is used, it looks like a bone in the center of the brain, and that's a point of reference that is used for imaging. So people can hear these entities, and especially people who have schizophrenia. Schizophrenia is a big one. And people who use psychedelics sometimes develop this over time, because psychedelics, in my opinion, has a tendency to influence the brain, to open up the channels, open up the receptors, open up the frequency receptors, because our body, our mind, it all operates with frequency. It's like a radio receiver. Back to 5G. 5G will definitely have an effect on humanity and all living things, because we are all, everything is energy. When you go back to Nikola Tesla said, if you would like to understand the mysteries of this universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. So if you take that into account, you must understand that we are simply energy. Everything that you perceive as physical matter, when you break it down to the most subatomic particle, it is simply energy vibrating at a certain rate, at a certain frequency, giving it the appearance of matter. But in reality, if you take a simple atom, 99.9% of that atom is emptiness. So I've come to the conclusion that all we perceive is simply an illusion. It's an illusion of physicality. And there's other things involved, electromagnetism, and when you put two things together, they don't ever touch. When my fingers are, even if I press something really tight against another thing, they never touch. If the atoms of this side and this side were to touch, this would create basically an atomic explosion. So there's some magnetic force, electromagnetic force, that's preventing atoms from colliding from one another and coming together. So nothing ever touches. And so that I find that very interesting. I'm not very well versed in this. Yes, that's another very important point. The energy, spirit guides. Spirit guides are there. Everybody has a spirit guide. Some people call them higher selves. Other people call them guardian angels. Different cultures call them different things, but they are there. We all have them. We all have them because they are us in a sense. So when we decide to be born into the physical realm, a part of us stays in the spiritual, and a part of us comes down and is encapsulated into this physical body. We are not this body. We are not. This is simply a vessel, a vehicle. I guess you could call it like an avatar. Yes. Very good. But they manifest in different ways for different people. Some people are able to communicate with them fairly easily and have a stronger connection with their spirit guides, with their higher self. I even call it intuition, because they are there to guide you down the best path possible for you. There is no right and wrong. There is no right and wrong path. It's just the best possible experience for you, because that's all there is. Ultimately, we come to this earth to experience, to live, to enjoy, to grow, to evolve, and you already have most people have a plan before they are born, even though nobody really remembers, but most people have a plan on what they want to experience, and to enrich their soul. Basically, this is enriching their soul is the ultimate goal in this universe, through experience, through emotions, through what have you. It's like the analogy that I use is like somebody that they can read a whole library on what it's like to be human, but until you actually live as a human, you really don't know what it is, what it's like. So you have to get your hands dirty. You have to get in there and experience it. So that's why we're here. We're simply eternal beings, eternal energy beings, self-aware, self-consciousness, having a human experience. And it's a beautiful thing, in my opinion. It's a beautiful thing. Unfortunately, it can get a little overwhelming for some people. Some people may decide that they can't handle it, and so they pull the plug a little too soon. Yeah. RJ, you're on point, brother. And I encourage you to call if you'd like, and we can maybe you can share some of your thoughts with the rest of the group. Maybe a lot of people aren't watching right now, but I've been having a lot of people reach out to me. They watch this at a later time, which is okay. And so once they watch this, they reach out to me and they tell me their stories. And in fact, I have one story of this young lady from Portugal. She called me. I might share the audio. Sorry, the music's too loud. I might share the audio with you guys here in a little bit. She asked me to share it because she had an experience with a succubus or incubus. Incubus is the male form of male energy of the demon, who specializes in energy, sexual energy extraction. In fact, let me see if I can play that for you right now. According to what she said, she does tarot readings, and she came across a client that had she was very promiscuous, and so it's kind of, when somebody is very promiscuous, I'm not judging anything. You do what you what you do, but there's exchange of energies all the time, especially during sexual encounters. So if the person has bad entities, demons, energies, whatever you want to call them, they can actually jump from person to person, and it's a lot easier when there's that sexual connection. And so she had one of these entities jump from her client to her because not because it was a sexual interaction, but because she's a tarot card, she's an energy worker, and she opens up her energy field to connect with their clients and to be able to see. And this is pretty common. I myself am an energy healer, and I have experienced attacks by these demonic entities. I don't anymore because I've learned how to protect myself at the etheric level, and it's very simple. It's very, very simple. You just have to connect with your natural, with who you are. You have to realize who you are, and when you do that, you realize that your will is infinitely more powerful than any entity out there. You are infinitely more powerful than any demon, than any being, any dark being that's out there. So all you have to do is use your willpower to create like a shield. You use your imagination and your visualization abilities to create a protective shield around you, and your will is done. And it's done. So if you'd like to know more about that, you can reach out. I can explain more about protections. I can explain more about energy healing. I can explain more about demonic attachments, what have you. I've been doing this for a few years, and I feel like I'm quite not. I don't know everything. The more that I learn, the more that I know, the more that I realize I don't know anything. RJ, let me know, brother, if you need any help. I can assist guiding you. I offer free counseling, and I also offer paid sessions. I offer both free and paid, so reach out to me if you'd like, and I can help you out. It can be hard sometimes because they like to play with your what do you call it? With your anxiety, with panic. Sometimes they can trigger panic attacks, and you feel like there's nowhere to run, and you feel like trapped. That's happened to me. Yeah, the website's on there, energyhealingvibe.com. Feel free to reach out. Yeah, so that's one of the, and they also play with sleeping patterns. They create insomnia, headaches, anxiety, depression, all sorts of emotional unbalances. That's a word. Disharmony, within the self. But ultimately, you have the power to eliminate these beings from your energy field. All it takes is for you to find out who you truly are and realize that you are the creator. You are the creator, and you're able to create using your mind, using your willpower, using your simply that, your innate ability. And I can guide you through step by step on how to reconnect with your higher self, reconnect with who you truly are, and realize that you have the ultimate truth. You have the ultimate power. Once you do that, you simply tell them to leave. If they don't leave, you make them leave, and it's done. So let me play you this short audio file that this young lady sent to me. A little bit of explicit language. Well, not explicit, but explicit descriptive language. But I think she, she's from Portugal, so there might be a little abrasiveness because of the language. I don't know. Anyways, here it goes.
Hi Hector, this was last year.
Can you hear it?
Tarot readings. I do them
Cynthia?
from time to time, not my prime work of business, but it's something I do. And I had a reading to someone who had a very crazy sexual life,
Can you hear it?
She was lots of men.
Hold on, my
So when I
speaker's not working
opened
very
the
good.
cards, there was the devil. And I didn't realize at that point that it was some entity, some kind of entity, sexual entity that she had connected to her. So my day carried on. At night I had a dream that there was a man there, and I kind of touched them in his chest to make him go away. But then I really I was in a closed room and with him, and I realized that he was a menace. And then I usually can wake up when I want to. So then I woke up with a finger inside my bum, which was very scary. At that point, I tried to like forget it because it was scary, and I wanted to forget it. So daytime, I was taking a shower. My son was came to the bathroom, and he left and left the door open, and I started screaming, "My son Gabriel, come close the door! Come close the door!" And he said, "I'll be right there." So I looked at. I was taking a shower, and there at the point there was someone in the door, and I was thinking, there's my son, he's at the door, he's looking at his phone, and he won't shut the door because I saw there was someone in the door. I saw a foot even, and I was like screaming, "Shut the door, Gabrielle!" And the door just shutted very strongly, and I carried on with my bath. And a few minutes later, I had my son screaming at the door, "Why did you tell me to shut the door if the door is already shut?" And I was like panicking. I go off the bath with naked and all, trying to find some man that had come into the my home, only to realize later that it was an entity that was kind of glued to me. It's easy to get rid of it. I asked for help from a friend who is a medium. She helped me, but some months later I had it again. I was kind of raped in my sleep again. It only happens when I'm really depressed and low on energy. I get some attacks, but I always try to not be that way because it's very scary when it happens, and it's just this. I don't know if you find it valuable or not, but that's my experience that I wanted to share with you. Thank you for listening.
So it sounds like she had a very profound, traumatizing experience with this entity, this demon that you know plagued her at the sexual level. And this is more common than you can imagine. I've dealt with, so many people, so many women, and even men also. Men also have come to me and told me about their experiences with paranormal, especially when they are sleeping or when they're in that waking sleep transition. They're able to be conscious enough to recognize energies that are there, but they are also paralyzed. So this is the sleep paralysis that a lot of people have reported. I personally have experienced it myself. I was sort of, young, but I want to say I was maybe 15, laying in my bed trying to fall asleep around 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm laying, face down, and all of a sudden I heard the door open, and I heard the footsteps come. Somebody came into my room, and I thought it was my mother. I tried to turn, but I couldn't. I was completely immobilized, and I clearly felt and heard an old lady, and I felt her breath on the back of my head here, she spoke a strange language. I didn't understand what she said, but I heard the like whispering into my ear. Freaked me out, but I couldn't do anything about it. So I guess I must have eventually fallen asleep. The next day when I woke up is when I remembered what had happened. On another occasion, I was laying in bed, and all of a sudden, I started hearing like a humming. It got louder, louder, and faster, like, sound waves. Whenever they come, when something that's producing sound comes closer to you, it sounds like the frequency increases, and it felt like there was a spaceship above my house, and it felt like the vibrations were increasing, and I started to panic, but I couldn't wake up. I tried, and finally I was able to snap out of it. I woke up, and it was scary. It was really scary because I felt like that they were trying to, take me. And so it happens. It does happen, and these abductions happen not only, I haven't heard of abductions happening at the physical. Well, I've heard of it, but not personally encountered somebody that has physically been abducted. But throughout my work, I come across people who have been abducted at the energy level, and this is when you're sleeping, and they can actually take your energy body out of your out of the room, and take it into their craft, and they actually use etheric technology to implant the energy body. A lot of people can report seeing all these details inside of a spacecraft, these beings inside of a spacecraft, and their experience, and what they went through. But majority of it is at the etheric dimension. So this can all be accessed when you put somebody into like a trance through meditation. You can access their subconscious memory and subconscious mind. And so RJ, I see you have experienced this too. Call in sometime, brother, and let me know your experience. Share it with the world, and that'd be nice to hear. Anyways, and so these entities are specialized. I don't know. I'm gonna touch on this a little bit, but if you have kids, you might have heard of the movie Monsters Inc. or Monsters University. If you haven't, check it out. It's a kids film, kids movie. But in that movie, they touch on demons, portals, energy extraction. So in the movie, there is a dimension where there's only monsters, and they go to this university to specialize in energy extraction of the human in the human being. They specialize in extracting energy from the children. And so in their world, they have these capsules that hold human fear energy. And these monsters have to train, they have to learn the weaknesses of their particular victim. And they have to know how to exploit those weaknesses. They need to learn how to exploit their fears to maximize the energy extraction. And then they have another department in the Monsters University that specializes in portal creation, in doors. They specialize in doors into the human world. Ultimately, they're afraid of the humans. They're afraid of the humans because they have so much potential, so much power, so much energy. The one human, they were, I don't see the whole series of films that were out there, but they were afraid of this young kid who wasn't afraid of them. And so it's like that, simply like that. There's demons, entities that specialize in certain forms of energy extraction utilizing certain certain fears that the person has. For example, you have demons that specialize in sexual energy. You have demons who specialize in fear. You have demons who specialize in anger. You have demons that specialize, and then from there they have subcategories that they also specialize in. Through manipulation of emotions, manipulation of thoughts, manipulation of the environment. They use your own energy. They use your own energy to manipulate the environment around you, so that you fail at what you do, so that you things like that. And this has been a reoccurring motif in human experience, human history. There's always, since my parents grew up with black and white cartoons of a little devil who would make life impossible for people, and the little devil would get a kick out of it, I guess. But it's a reoccurring theme, reoccurring motif in people's psyche, that kind of like a subconscious thing, that there's something out there that is affecting your environment, mischievous energies that are causing you to trip and fall and hurt yourself. And I've seen a lot of that too as well personally, and people have reported it to me that they like this one young lady, she clearly feels like this entity pushed her off of they were out on a beach or something, and she said that she felt something push her. She fell and she ended up fracturing a vertebrae, which has plagued her for many years. We did an energy healing session for her, and after a little bit of work, she was able to improve and reduce the chronic pain. So these things are real. A lot of people don't want to think about it. Too busy. They're too busy paying their mortgage, too busy trying to pay off their car payment, their bills, struggling. I understand it. We're stuck in a matrix. We're stuck in a rat race that is designed to keep you asleep. It's designed to keep you in this hamster wheel, going, while they're extracting not only your etheric, your energy from the etheric side, but they're also extracting your creative energy, your physical energy. They've found a way to monetize your energy. They found a way to convert human energy into a means of conveyance, a means of conversion, a tool that we call money. And I've also studied a little bit about economics and the fractional reserve banking that we have in this country, and most of the world has it. Values currency. That's right. The way that I see it, it's more like a circuit, like an energy circuit, because you have energy flow a certain direction, and then they call that cash flow, and that cash flow generates movement, does something to that you can use to generate more energy or get something done. So they generate cash flow, and then they have currency, which it's kind of like the same thing as current. There's all sorts of things that there's parallels to the circuits, like an actual circuit board. For example, the banks, the fractional reserve banking, that is like a transformer. When you put $1 into the bank is able to transform that dollar into $10 or $9. They keep one and they loan out $9 that they just created, and so they're able to amplify the money supply. A transformer does something similar. It can transform the current that goes into it. It can modulate it at a different frequency and change the voltage, change the amperage, things of that nature. And so the banks are like the transformers, but right now what is happening is that the transformer is, they're pulling more out, more energy that's getting put into the system. So much like a transformer, you can burn it out by doing just that, by trying to get more energy out of the transformer than you're putting in. And so, in my perspective, the banks are soon to fall, soon to collapse, implode, explode, whatever you want to call it, because of that energy extraction. People are not producing, but yet they keep creating all this, fake money out there that ultimately is valueless. Yeah, valueless, because it's just a piece of paper. The only thing that gives it value is the people's faith in that paper. That's the only thing keeping it afloat right now. The people believe that it can actually get you something, but ultimately it has zero intrinsic value. Much like what happened in Venezuela. I had a buddy. Sorry, we're kind of straying off the subject, but I'm also passionate about about this. Labor or energy given to create equity. We are chattel. Exactly. Yep. We are simply chattel. We are born into a system of bondage, and through the birth certificate, our soul is pledged by our parents. That's why they take your soul print at time of birth. It's kind of a ritual. It's kind of like a little sick ritual that these elite have come up with. The person. Yeah, and when you have a perspective from outside, like for example, my friend from Venezuela, he was a lawyer in Venezuela, and he says that over there it's very clear, when you have a natural person, a real being, and a fictitious being. Here we don't know the difference. We don't know what a real person is and a straw man or a fiction is. We don't know. And so what ends up happening is that we believe that we are the fiction. And when that happens, then these courts, which are basically black magicians in their robes, they come out and they summon, they summon the dead. They all rise. They tell the people to all rise because they're summoning these dead fictions, these dead fictitious corporations from the dead. And so we believe it. We believe we're the dead, all caps being, and we fall for their trap. And they're able to violate our rights. They're able to take away our God-given or our universal rights. We don't know. I'm still learning, so feel free to chime in, RJ. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. And so, this whole system is broken. We have fake money, fake gods, fake teachers, fake. Everything is fake. Now our food is becoming fake. There's a big push against natural, a big push against self-sustaining equilibrium, if you could call it. So they don't want people to be part of nature. They want to take them out of their take away their natural abilities to sustain themselves, and have them depend on the system, so that the system can then control and coerce and guide and do whatever they want to do as they take their energy, they take the energy from the person. So this hour has has flown by so quickly. It feels like I was talking for like 10 minutes, but it's been an hour. So yeah, I appreciate you guys hanging out. It's a spiritual awakening to know thyself. That's when I overstood and I had a paranormal experience that changed my life. RJ, you gotta call in, brother. You gotta let me know. You gotta share this with the world. Next time, or we can even do it today if you'd like. But yeah, feel free to call in and share your paranormal experience with us, and then we can talk about. I'm a person of many talents, I guess you could say. I study a little bit of everything: quantum physics, economics, finance, spirituality. So I guess you could say well-rounded in many fields. So we can talk about all these different things. But it's all one. Ultimately, it's all interconnected. The way that they've managed to confuse us is by fragmenting, by saying church and science, by saying, everything is separate, everything is separate. But when in reality, everything is one, and we should be able to, we should grow up learning that we are part of this world, not, I was never taught how to garden in school. I was not taught how to utilize money, how to invest, how to grow my money, how to do it. I wasn't taught about the spiritual side, which I understand. Everybody has their own perspective on spirituality, but I think that it's fundamental that we learn these things at a young age, that so that we can make better decisions for ourselves, better decisions for our families when we grow up, and better decisions for our community, so that we can be, harmonious. I don't see, there's so much division going on nowadays, and I understand both sides. I understand that there's a side that believes all the things that television says, and there's a side that believes what they know to be true, what they've discovered through their own research. And they try to discredit people. It's so amazing, but there's a big push to decentralize right now. Education is becoming decentralized. You can go on YouTube, you can go online, you can learn without having to go into a university, without having to go to a formal centralized schooling. And so there's a big push, to decentralize, and people try to discredit that by saying, "Oh, where did you get your law degree on Facebook? On Facebook, where did you get your medical degree on Twitter or whatever?" And so there's a big war, there's a big separation, and this also has to do with the cosmos. The cosmos is, we just went through, what is it called? I had the word. It's an event where certain planets line up. Great alignment? I don't know. But it's creating this decentralization movement, and everything. Money is decentralizing right now. We're having all sorts of creation of cryptocurrencies. It's a push for decentralization. Education is becoming decentralized. Everybody's doing their own research, doing their own education from home, and choosing different modes of it. The medical field is next. People are afraid to go to their doctor for help. They rather take a chance going to the animal feed store to get their medications, which I don't blame them, because I would feel the same way. There's a big change coming. There's big change coming. People don't trust doctors anymore. They're gonna start learning how there's gonna be a change in that. It's gonna become decentralized, where you'll be able to call a good doctor. They'll be able to prescribe something over the phone. They'll be able to come to your home. You don't have to go into the big hospital where they have, it's going to be decentralized. People are going to, they're going to start looking into more holistic, more natural minded forms of healing. And so everything is becoming decentralized. So the governments that of the world know this, and they're in a big panic to shut it all down. They want to shut down all the decentralization, and they want to centralize everything. They want to control everything. They want to be able to have more and more and more control. And so, you know, shout out to all the people that have stayed positive through this war. It's a spiritual war. And it's also the Great Awakening. A lot of people are awakening to the truth. They're awakening to what's really going on. You know, I'm one of those people. You know, I was already waking up since I was a kid. I've always questioned everything. You know, I've always wondered how things work. Who is God? Why do we pray to a God? This and that, and all sorts of questions in my mind that nobody could. It's very lonely. I thought the same thing. I thought it was lonely, but luckily, I'm coming into contact with more people that are awakened. Yeah, it's true, brother. I feel you. Man. I went to the store today to. I don't like going to the store anyways, but I went to the store to drop off my sister's car, and this huge gnarly dude. I'm like 5'6", 5'5", and this huge like 6 foot dude, like, you know, all tatted out, bad looking. You know, this dude looking like a bad mother, and he had his face mask on, and I would go in there without a mask, and he was literally scared of me behind this plexiglass. He's like, could you put on your mask? I was like, no, I'm good. I'm good. He stood like literally like 6 feet away and handed me like documents like from far away. I thought it was hilarious, but it's just the fear tactics, the indoctrination of all this, you know, propaganda that's being put out there for people to, you know, to be afraid. That's how they control people, you know. And so it can get lonely, but don't worry, brother. A lot of people are waking up. A lot of people are starting to see the inconsistencies in everything, man. The inconsistencies in our whole system are falling apart. Their lies are falling apart, and all the censorship that's going on, you know, it's just, man, it's incredible. But hopefully, you know, we all come together, because ultimately that's what really counts. The power lies in numbers. If we are able to come together and unite, that, you know, at least a good 50% of the people or more, I think we got this. Maybe less. Maybe it might even take less than 10%. I don't know. But don't lose hope. Don't lose faith. And I appreciate all you guys. Like I said, if we're going to be doing this every Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific time, and so feel free to call in next time, share your paranormal experiences with the group here, and yeah, feel free to reach out if you'd like to, you know, maybe leave me a message with your experience if you would like me to play it on the next episode. Why not? So I appreciate everyone out there. Our time is up, and I will see you guys next time. This is Hector, the energy healer. Hector, incarnated spirit. The witching hour. Check out the group. It's called Paranormal Matrix. I'm uploading a whole bunch of paranormal stuff on there. Pretty cool stuff. I try to keep it like interesting, because I don't like to scare people with like too much scary stuff, but it makes, you know, videos and things of things that make you wonder, you know, not to scare you or anything like that, just to make you think about what's really going on, you know. Anyways, thanks for joining me, and I will see you guys next time. Much love.